So Splitgate 2 has finally got a new trailer dropped, and to be honest, I would have thought that the Splitgate series would have kind of been one and done. The first game did do very well when it first came out, but unfortunately it kind of dropped off really quickly. But it's good to see that the studio is trying to bring it back for Splitgate 2, because the premise is brilliant. Now we know that Splitgate took inspiration from Portal, because, you know, portals, and then it also took inspiration from Halo's multiplayer side of things, and kind of merged them together and made a really fun multiplayer shooter. And Splitgate 1 came out at the kind of beginning of the current generation of gaming, and it really fell off very quickly. Splitgate 2 looks to add new features, enhanced gameplay, enhanced graphics, and by the look of it through the trailer, enhanced movement systems as well. There was a lot of stuff in the trailers with jetpacks. A lot of characters had jetpacks, and I really don't know if they're going to change up the verticality there. Splitgate 2, as seen in the trailer, is sticking with its portal system, which I think is great. It really adds another level of skill and depth to the whole multiplayer experience, because you could use them strategically in battle. For example, you could put one portal kind of behind the enemy team and then one next to you, and you could slide through the side and then take them all out. Now, although Splitgate has had portals in the past, they're kind of evolving on that at the moment. They're going to add curved portals and then also dynamic portals, where portals change throughout the map or depending on the game mode, which just adds unpredictability and encourages adaptive thinking, which is something that I think Splitgate really needs to evolve from Splitgate 1 and not just be the same thing once again, which I think is one thing that a lot of first-person shooters tend to do these days. They just tend to recycle the same type of content and just slap a new coat of paint on it, but it's really nice to see that Splitgate's team is trying to actually innovate on their initial core idea. Splitgate 1, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad looking game. It was one of the first games on PlayStation 5 that was free to play, but I might be looking at that with rose-tinted glasses to do with the graphics, because Splitgate 2 looks to dramatically enhance the environments and the lighting as well to make the game look absolutely phenomenal. And they've added new particles for the portals, which I guess is huge, but it's just kind of a new effect. And they're also changing up the arena style, making them more immersive rather than just the kind of block maps we saw in Splitgate 1. And I think one thing that Splitgate 1 suffered with was just kind of lag and latency and frame rate issues, and that is kind of one thing that the Splitgate team are trying to improve upon with Splitgate 2, trying to make sure that the latency is as low as possible and the frame rate is as high as it possibly can be. And you know, every first-person shooter needs to be smooth and responsive, and that's one thing that the Splitgate 2 team are really trying to push for Splitgate 2, because that's kind of the foundation of every first-person shooter. That's like the standard that you need. And it looks like they're trying to give the Splitgate series like a new shine, a new coat of paint, if you will, trying to right the wrongs of everything that went wrong in Splitgate 1. And with this new polish, they're even adding new game modes like Capture the Flag, but with portals, because that's kind of the thing with Splitgate, and also just standard team deathmatch that doesn't sound like, whoa, they definitely had team deathmatch in Splitgate 1, but they're introducing it now with new power-up modes to hopefully change up the pace a little bit. And what kind of first-person shooter would this be without a ranked mode? Yes, Splitgate 2 is going to have a ranked mode, as every other first-person shooter does. This ranked mode is going to be based on player interaction in a match and also like team contributions, so if you're capturing points, then that will add towards your rank. And I think they're trying to do this rather than just like as a team ranking if you lose, just to make everything feel a bit more rewarding for the player, because it shouldn't be your fault if your team loses. That sounds really elitist. You know what I mean. And in the trailer we saw like 3 different new heroes, and we're not too sure if they're like factions or if they're just like a specific 3-class system that we're gonna see in Splitgate 2. You've got Aeros, who's like the speedy character, and he can split his gun into 2 with much more versatile attacks. And then you've got Sebrask, who's kind of like your tanky character who can deal a lot more damage but maybe move slower. At the moment the information just isn't really there. And then you have Meridian, who's like your precision focused character, so I'm gonna guess maybe like snipers and rifles rather than machine guns. But the way that these characters or factions work at the moment, we just don't really know, because at the moment we've only seen a character trailer, I guess, like a cinematic trailer, so there's not really much information to go off of. And one thing that a lot of players do like when it comes to their first-person shooters, and it really isn't something that you see too much nowadays, is custom created maps. You'll be able to create a map however you like, you'll be able to share your own custom maps, you'll be able to play your own custom maps, and just kind of design your ideal play space. And I think this is great because it's really going to encourage longevity when it comes to Splitgate 2. I know Splitgate 1 kind of fell off really quickly, so maybe this custom map creation will keep the longevity going for Splitgate 2, and yeah, make it a lot longer. And of course, what kind of first-person shooter would it be if they didn't have customization? Yes, you'll be able to change your skin, your emotes, and your weapon camos, just kind of your standard first-person shooter stuff at this point, but it is kind of unknown if it's going to be paid content. I'm sure to some degree you'll be able to pay for a specific pack skin. I really don't know. And I'm just hoping that there's like a free system where you can earn rewards like skins, cosmetics, and emotes without having to shell out some money for it. And I really hope it's kind of not like the finals, where if you don't pay for like a battle pass or pay for in-game currency, the likelihood of you getting a skin is very low. There is even like a companion app that they're releasing for the game, so it will have comic strips where you can learn about the story of Splitgate 2, and it's pretty cool. I've never seen a game actually make comic strips in an app for people to actually look at. Most companion apps back in the day just used to kind of be, change your banner or change your little tag underneath your name. They were actually trying to do something new with it, which is quite refreshing, to be honest, and it will draw traffic to the app if people are invested in the Splitgate lore and want to read up about all their favourite characters. But since the Splitgate 2 trailer has been released, there has genuinely been a lot of excitement about its upcoming release. And it is coming out in 2025, so it's not like it's coming out next month. There will still be a decent amount of time leading up to Splitgate 2, but I'm more than fine with that at the moment, and I'm pretty sure most other people are. There are so many first-person shooters out there these days that it's kind of hard to keep track of what one you're still playing. I just think it's really good that the Splitgate team are kind of encouraging community within the Splitgate 2 community, I guess, voicing their concerns with technical difficulties and trying to right the wrongs that Splitgate 1 had. And I have a really big feeling that Splitgate 2 is actually going to do really, really well, especially if they market it just right. I think it's going to really kick off, and once again, if it is free to play like the first game was, I can't see it really going wrong. I'm pretty much very excited to play Splitgate 2. I think it's going to be a really good first-person shooter, and it will allow me to kind of hop back into one, but not have your generic walk around the map and shoot people. You know, you've got the portals again, which just add another layer to the first-person shooter space in like a match. You know, you have to think tactically about going left, going right, putting a portal up there, putting a portal down there. But anyway, yeah, so that's Splitgate 2. It's coming out in 2025, so if you are interested, then keep an eye on it. I really think they're going to pull the cat out of the bag with this one, so yeah, keep an eye out. But yeah, so that's kind of everything about Splitgate 2. Let me know what you think in the comments section below.